In Five Nights at Freddy's, a new interpretation of the Afton brothers is that Michael Afton is the stepbrother of the crying child. While out of left field, I've had this theory ever since I've redone the timeline. This idea goes to explain the tense and distant relationship shown between the two, especially in FNAF 4, where Michael repeatedly bullies him. This video is a closer look at this take on events that help explain FNAF 4 motivations and the history. Michael Afton is one of the most important figures in the story. He was first introduced to us as the Foxy Bro, the older sibling who wears the Foxy mask and torments the crying child. At this stage, Michael is careless while being cruel, treating his responsibilities like a joke, but this ultimately leads to the infamous Bite of 83. As the series progresses, in Sister Location, his now famous speech reveals his growing awareness of the horrors. When he says, "They thought I was you," Michael acknowledges that the animatronics mistook him for his father, William Afton. This moment confirms Michael's identity and shows that he has stepped into his father's shadow, enduring punishment meant for someone else, while continuing to search for him. This idea of Michael being controlled or used by William is further reinforced in Pizzeria Simulator. One of the alley posters depicts a man dressed in purple, holding a smaller puppet that resembles himself. Many fans interpret this image as symbolic. William Afton manipulates Michael, using him as an extension of his own will. The crying child is one of the most tragic figures in universe, with fear and isolation telling the story. Constantly tormented by the Foxy Bro, he becomes the victim of relentless bullying that turns his daily life into a source of anxiety. This cruelty reaches its breaking point at the Bite of 83, when a prank goes horribly wrong and Fredbear crushes his head, leaving him fatally injured. The crying child's story represents the cost of cruelty and neglect. This information is known to the community and doesn't itself lead us to believe in the stepbrother situation. Although when including the Immortal and the Restless soap opera that made its appearance in Sister Location, the questions start arising. The Immortal and the Restless is a recurring soap opera shown in Sister Location, offering a strangely humorous glimpse into the Afton family drama. The show plays between nights, focusing on themes of denial, hidden family ties, and a mysterious child, clear parallels to William Afton's refusal to acknowledge his own son. During these scenes, a silent figure watches the show while eating popcorn, widely believed to be Michael Afton. This small detail humanizes Michael, showing him in a quiet, ordinary moment while watching the exaggerated family conflict on the screen. Vlad and Clara, the central characters of The Immortal and the Restless, act as exaggerated stand-ins for the fractured Afton family. Vlad, the dramatic vampire, is defined by his constant denial that the child could possibly be his. No matter how much evidence is placed in front of him, he refuses responsibility. Clara, in contrast, represents patience and emotional exhaustion. She is left to confront the truth alone, repeatedly pointing out the obvious while Vlad deflects logic. The child, rarely seen but always discussed, becomes the silent center of the conflict. Though the baby has no voice, its existence exposes the cracks in Vlad and Clara's relationship. Together, the three characters turn the soap opera into more than a joke. It becomes a symbolic retelling of a broken family, where denial and neglect shape the lives of everyone involved. This new theory suggests that the infant in The Immortal and the Restless represents the crying child rather than Michael Afton. In this interpretation, the baby symbolizes an unwanted child whose existence is denied by the father figure. This view shifts the meaning of the soap opera away from Michael, and instead frames it as a commentary on the crying child's suffering, emphasizing how he was overlooked and dismissed, and lost due to the indifference of those around him. Assigning the crying child to the infant in The Immortal and the Restless opens the door to a more complex interpretation of the Afton family. In this reading, Clara represents the crying child's mother, a distressed mistress to William Afton rather than his wife, left to raise a child whose father refuses to acknowledge him. This would suggest that Michael and Elizabeth may have a different mother entirely, explaining the emotional distance favoritism seen throughout the series. By separating the crying child from the rest of the Afton children in this way, the theory reinforces his role as the most vulnerable and neglected member of the family. From Security Breach, the third therapy CD introduces the possibility that the Afton children were directly affected by a bitter divorce and custody battle between their parents. The therapist's comments suggest that William Afton manipulated the court proceedings using coercion to make the mother appear unfit, while training the child to follow instructions perfectly to support his case. This moment reframes the family tragedy as something that began long before the murders and animatronics. It implies that the children were not just witnesses to conflict but active pieces in a court battle that left lasting psychological scars.
Hi, go ahead. Sit down.
I don't know you. What happened to...
Oh, we'll get to know each other in no time. I've read through all your files, so I feel like we've been talking for weeks. I feel like I know your dad, too. Bill, right? Your dad's name was Bill? I'm sorry, what did you say?
I try to do what I'm supposed to do.
I know you do. Your supervisor notes that you follow instructions perfectly. Your dad made you follow instructions, didn't he? I'm talking about the custody battle between your mum and your dad. Your dad didn't play fair, did he? He used to make your mum look bad in court. I'm so sorry that happened to you. Do you want to talk about how that felt?
If Clara had met with an accident during Fall Fest 83, from Curse of Dreadbear, the crying child would have been left in an especially vulnerable position. With his mother suddenly absent, he would be forced to rely almost entirely on William and his step-siblings for his care. Unlike his siblings, who were older and more capable of distancing themselves from the event, the crying child would internalize the loss, developing trauma tied to his lost mother. This would help to explain why the siblings appear less directly affected, while the crying child's anxiety and distress become a defining trait. In the days leading up to the bite of 83, Michael's treatment of his stepbrother became increasingly cruel. The infamous moment of lifting the crying child into Fredbear's mouth can be seen as the culmination of this behavior, whether as a twisted attempt to remove him from the family entirely, or as resentment toward the attention the younger boy demanded. Michael may have viewed his stepbrother not as a sibling to protect, but as an obstacle, a constant reminder of the loss surrounding the family after Clara's accident. In this light, the bite became a tragic event of neglect, jealousy, and cruelty. In the aftermath of these events, it seems William may have divorced his wife, the mother of Michael and Elizabeth, and taken a younger woman as a partner with whom he had a third child. This shift in the family dynamic leaves Clara and the crying child isolated, framing them as the true victims of the Afton household. With a father more focused on his business, the crying child's trauma is compounded. In this context, the Afton family emerges as an environment where neglect and favoritism dictate the fates of its most vulnerable members. One day, when the pieces can be put back together, perhaps a mother and her son could only then leave the shadow of the Aftons' legacy.